bouncing off that, I wanted to go to a matter that has received remarkably little public debate, despite its potentially far-reaching implications. And I'm talking about Section 224 of the NDAA that would integrate some of America's most sensitive military and intelligence capabilities with Israel's. And critics argue that this goes far beyond cooperation between allies. So can you please explain to the viewers why some have described this provision as a profound surrender of U.S. sovereignty, and many people in America are not even aware about what's about to happen?
Well, the United States surrendered its sovereignty a long time ago, and that became official when our Secretary of State, who's also the National Security Advisor, said on camera right after this war began in the first days of March that the United States followed the lead of Israel into this war. So the United States is supposedly a global superpower with 350 million people. Why would we be following a country of 9 million people that exists only because we pay the bills into a war that's going to, I don't know, wreck the US dollar, crash energy markets, cause hyperinflation, get Americans killed? Why would you do that? Because you're not in control of your own country. That's why. And so it's very obvious that the United States has surrendered sovereignty. And it's infuriating to those of us who love the country, our country, which belongs to us, not a foreign country, and who have any modicum of self-respect. Like, it's humiliating. How could you stand for that? But our leadership class is debased and degraded. They have no self-respect at all. And so for them, it's an easy trade. Like, they're getting something out of it or think they are. And so it's fine. What's happening specifically with the piece of legislation you referred to is that the Israeli lobby in the United States and the leaders of the Israeli government understand that Israel is not just unpopular in the United States, it's really hated by a lot of people. They're committing genocide. So anyone who's supporting a government that's committing genocide is, how is that different from a Nazi sympathizer? Not different. Genocide's always wrong, no matter who commits it, no matter who suffers from it. Exterminating someone's bloodline is a crime and a sin. And so a lot of Americans have awakened to that. They don't want to support this. They don't want anything to do with it. We're paying for it. They're enraged by that. So it's very obvious that if you were to put this up to a vote, say 10 years from now, should we send Israel another THAAD battery or, another $8 billion in military aid or whatever, people are going to say, no, I can't vote for that. So what they're instead doing is attempting to merge the U.S. military with the IDF to pass a law that makes it impossible to disentangle, and a law that basically funnels military aid, they won't call it that, to the Israeli military from the United States without any vote. These decisions will be made at the Pentagon in the procurement office rather than on the floor of the House and Senate. And so it's very stealthy, it's clever, it's completely evil. And there's been, as you said, very little attention paid to it because the American media is 100% behind it. Any criticism of Israel is considered by our media to be an attack on all Jews. Anti-Semitism, a species of hate, the oldest hate, irrational. Well, of course, every normal person is opposed to anti-Semitism or any form of race hate, including the race hate that the leaders of the Israeli government talk about every day on television. We hate the Palestinians because they're Palestinian. We're against that too. We're against all of it. Anti-black racism, anti-white racism. The same God made Benjamin Netanyahu and the kid in Gaza who just had his legs blown off, and Idi Amin and you and me. The same God made all of those people. We have one God, and he makes every human being. And that's why we have something called human rights, because those rights derive from God. And the thing that connects us is the fact that we are all equal in his eyes. So these are like assumptions that are disappearing, that were the basis of our justice system, a basis of the world that I grew up in. These were the lessons of World War II, supposedly. They dehumanized the Jews and murdered them. I was against that when I first heard about it. I'm against it now. But the lesson, which is that it's always wrong, this is a universal principle applicable to everyone always, has been completely lost. And we have sort of re-entered the darkness of the 1930s where political figures in public will say, it's okay to kill these people because they're not human. If there was any lesson of the Nazi regime, it's that we can't have that because it winds up with where we are now in Gaza, genocide. So sorry for the long-ranging answer, but it's like, this is all of a piece. It's not just Israel, it's the United States. We're all kind of implicated in this. And this law that you refer to, this legislation, which has not yet passed, just codifies it. then you can't get out. We're forever perpetrators of genocide, of ethnic cleansing. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not for that.
My understanding is that it ultimately becomes law. Once it ultimately becomes law, is it true that my understanding that no future president or Congress can simply withdraw from it without first amending it, because no one in the future can withdraw from it, or else it would be a federal violation. How is this possible? And this is shocking, and people need to know about it.
Well, that's how the U.S. government works, of course.
But is there no way to stop it from getting passed? Because this is the trick that they've come up with now in order to appease all the reaction that they're getting, that we want to stop sending money over to Israel and funding them for their army. And I saw him on Fox News the other day, Bibi, and he was the one saying, it's about time we stop receiving the $4 billion a year from America. But this is the way around it. And actually, they have access to 1.5 trillion now a year, plus an integration of the intelligence, which is extremely dangerous on your part as Americans, to allow a foreign intelligence agency to be integrated with your intelligence.
Well, especially a foreign intelligence agency that has been caught lying, first of all, spying on the United States repeatedly over generations, stealing from the United States our secrets, our nuclear material, and then feeding false information to American leaders to get us to do things like, I don't know, invade Iraq or launch a regime change war against Iran. This just happened this year in February. We know this. The administration itself has said this. Our president, Trump, was confused because the Israelis had told him that would happen. And he believed it for some reason, or claimed to believe it, or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. No one in the American intelligence community, our 18 or 19 intelligence agencies, which are very expensive, none of them had told Trump that. Like, they told him the truth. No, we don't think that's going to happen. You can kill the Ayatollah, you can assassinate an elderly man and his family, but that's not going to get you regime change. And they told him that, but the Israelis told him a lie, and he believed it and acted on it. So, like, those are the people you want in Langley, at your CIA headquarters and over at NSA in Fort Meade, and all the rest of them? Like, this is the craziest thing ever. And the intel world, as you know, is incredibly complicated. It's so complicated that it's very hard to deal with anybody attached to it, because you never know what this is that you're hearing. So to bring foreigners into that with a completely different agenda, serving as different flag, is treason. And anyone who pushes for that or makes it possible should be brought up on treason charges immediately. There's no clearer example of treason that I can think of. Selling out your country. That is selling out your country. And so what they're doing is just like doing it without letting anyone know what's happening, because the media just won't cover it because they're on board with it, or they're afraid that criticizing Israel is anti-Semitism. And they're major figures in American media like Jake Tapper, or Dana Bash, or people like this who constantly, their whole goal, their whole job actually is to scold anybody, imply or declare them anti-Semitic for saying, wait a second, why would we do that? Shut up. It's scary what's happening, I think.
It's a surrender of U.S. sovereignty, and I don't understand why is there no way that this can be stopped from getting passed into law?
Well, I join you in bafflement. I don't understand it either.
There are representatives who are making something about it. Rohanna, Thomas Massie, who unfortunately won't be around till he was only going to be around till the midterms. They are trying to do something about it, but can something be done about it not getting passed? I don't know. I was hoping you would be able to know and tell me, but
I personally have tried to get. I did a show on it, and I felt almost hysterical about it. I can't believe this could happen.
Yeah.
But it's continuing. Look, the entire U.S. Congress takes money from a foreign lobby to do its bidding. And they get mad when you say that, but it's subjective. How is that not true? It is true. The entire, over 90%, I think the number's over 90%.
I think it's 95,
American
Tucker,
representatives,
because they post about
95,
it and they gloat about it. AIPAC does.
Right. Well, the point is to humiliate and demoralize you as well.